general geography of the area is near the ocean. Of course, is flat, or it's low dunes. Gets a little heavier around the middle of the state, and then on the right you got the beginning of the White Mountains.
Oh,
So,
the mountains, yeah.
So that's what that looks.
Yeah.
Living there, this is the Depression, 1929, and I grew up through it. So we didn't have anything fancy, nothing was done for us, which I think was nice. We had to learn to do it ourselves. But anyway, hadn't played sports. That's all you could do. In my day, all towns had baseball teams, sometimes basketball too, and that was the big thing. But then television comes in, and everything disappeared after that. But anyway, that was kind of through my life. I like being up in Massachusetts. I've worked out in 10-degree below zero weather, but that's the type of work I had. But anyway.
What town are you from?
I'm from a little town of Oxford, which has a history.
Oxford. How many of you have heard of Oxford, Massachusetts?
Okay.
All right, I see some hands. Where do you park your car?
Oh, of course, in Harvard Yard when I go to Boston.
He parks his car.
He parks his car in Harvard Yard.
Yes.
You know, it's funny because whenever a typical New England term comes out of Evelyn, it's just like old times.
Well, every time I see Bob, I have to say, "Hey, how are ya?"
Yeah, exactly.
I gotta fake it, just a little. And I see Vinny has his hand up back here. Vinny.
Well, my grandchildren and great-grandchildren live in North Reading, which is northwest of Boston Harbor. And we visit quite often. It's a beautiful town. But if I had to relocate any place in the United States, Boston would be one of my top choices. Beautiful city. I worked as a salesperson 30 some odd years, back and forth.
Nice.
From New York to Boston. 1 hour flight, and it was beautiful. Really enjoyed it.
Thank you. There's a lot of history in Boston.
I love the Boston Commons.
Yes,
Lakes.
Boston Commons,
Museums.
lakes, yeah. The Charleston
Castle.
River,
Boston College,
Boston College, yep.
BC.
Harvard, MIT, yes.
Said Boston Pops.
The Boston Pops, yes. How many of you have heard the Boston Pops before? Yes, beautiful. All right, well, let's take a nice flight to Massachusetts today. Geneva told us she was going to fly us.
Oh, boy.
So Captain Geneva, take it away.
I've been to Boston. I visited the Boston Commons and hiked through it. It's a very nice little area there. And we were staying in a hotel adjacent to it. On our way to Nova Scotia, I am going to fly the plane today, so all of you get comfortable, buckle your seat belts, and we'll be flying at about 36,000 feet today. So it may be a little rough at times, but keep your seat belts fastened. Thank you and good flying.
I hope you enjoyed your flight to Massachusetts. What was your favorite part?
Bob's house. I saw Bob's house.
Cape Cod.
Cape Cod?
I like
Cape Cod?
God, yes. Durkin Park.
Durkin Park?
You familiar with that?
I've never been there.
It was downtown in Boston, and it was noted for their steaks. You could be, in those days, you might be sitting on benches, plain bench, picnic benches, next to a lady with a full-length mink coat. And when they were served with a steak, literally it was hanging over the edge of the plate.
Oh, wow. Bob, did you have one of those?
Well, actually, the place I like the best is a place I've never been to when I was young. But now once I get into painting there, I used to go to Rockport and Gloucester. Gloucester, of course, big fishing village, one of the first. And But I used to make it a point whenever I got to the Northeast to go over there.
And you heard the accent.
Oh,
I see a couple hands up. Mona and then Vinny. So Mona?
Okay, my daughter, one of my daughters was married at Crane's Castle on the beach, and that's the bathroom crane. And we had you had to get permits and all, and the reception was there. And she lived in Ipswich,
Yep.
and and her flat looked right out over the water. And then she graduated from Gordon Cromwell up there, and then she worked at Tufts in biology.
Oh, very nice. Lovely. Thank you for sharing that. So Vinny was next, and then Doug,
Well,
you'll be next.
Just a little memory that Irene and I experienced. For 20 years, we used to rent a place called the Lighthouse Cottages in East Sandwich on the North Shore. One of those years, we got there the very first day with my mother-in-law and father-in-law, setting up the cottage. Irene leans across the table to start serving and throws her back out and goes down and out. Got her by ambulance, took her to Hyannisport Hospital. She spent 7 days in there.
Goodness.
We had just gotten there, and the kids wanted to stay, and Irene said, "You stay, come and visit." So every day we all go to the hospital back and forth. And she experienced something. And the Kennedy compound was like right around the corner from the hospital. Kennedy. But
Wasn't
she
there
spent
a
1 week on
lake?
her back.
Winnipesaukee.
Goodness.
Winnipesaukee Lake, wasn't that?
Wasn't
in the
that a
Boston
movie
area?
too?
I'm not
Winnipes-
familiar
Lake-
with Lake Winnipesaukee.
Yeah, I think it was in one of those Chevy Chase movies, Lake Winnipesaukee.
Yeah.
Something like that. Or
And it was in Massachusetts?
I don't know. I just heard that name, and it was in one
I've
of
heard the name, but
Lake Winnipesaukee.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, Lake
Isn't it
Winnipesaukee.
either in New York State
We've got
or
friends on
New
that lake.
Hampshire?
I'm not sure.
I don't either.
One owns-
So hold Marie, Doug is gonna go next, and then you'll be after him, okay? Dougie?
I was surprised it wasn't included in the beautiful presentations. But on Cape Cod, there's a historical site where the first transatlantic radio was set. Marconi, yeah.
Marconi?
And then there's a spot there that's identified that was the United States end of the circuit.
Wow. There's just so much history. Marie, you had your hand up.
Yes, my daughter was at Tufts College, and that was the first time she had her PhD in microbiology and molecular structure, so we saw that was a great thrill for us, that PhD in front of her name.
Oh, very nice. Wow. Maureen.
Well, seeing as we're talking about college, my son Jason went to Boston College for his first 2 years.
Awesome.
And then Hurricane Andrew came along and he didn't go back there. He graduated from a different place.
Okay,
But
wow.
it's lovely up there. Newton,
Yes, Newton's a beautiful city.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
We spent lots of time there.
Very nice. Would anyone else like to add anything about Massachusetts? Jim?
Oh, trying to get it out. When I was Harvard in early 70s, you went to walk called Harvard Yard and smell all the marijuana. And they professor said that marijuana will be legal one of these days because the students now have experimented with it and they'll be the leaders in the future. So that's come to through several states have passed laws that they're now were illegal for marijuana.
So it all started at Harvard?
Yes.
Marijuana started at Harvard. Wait, was it you?
My daughters.
Are you the founder?
They came running out.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Chateau Air. Please sit back, relax, buckle your seatbelts, and enjoy the flight.